Daniel chapter 6, I believe it is. Daniel in the lion's den. Everybody, just a moment to get there. Daniel chapter 6. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these three presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the president and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom. But they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said those men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. So there was these other people that three presidents whom Daniel was first, and the princes might give account unto them, and he was in great power here. Daniel was. And he said he was preferred above the president and princes because of an excellent spirit. He was a great example of a leader. He was doing what he was supposed to do. He was honoring God. He was leading these men, and he was doing. And of course, we know the devil gets mad when somebody's doing right.
You could compare him to Joseph in Egypt.
Yeah, it is a great comparison. And it said they sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none. They couldn't find no fault in him. They was looking, they was trying. You know, when somebody's running for election or somebody's trying to do, lots of times people start going trying to dig up dirt, trying to find something on them. And that's what they was doing to Daniel, but they couldn't find none. It says, For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes and the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save, O thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now, this is a different king than when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego got thrown in the fire, but it's basically the same story. He wasn't to pray to the one true God. He wasn't to do those things he'd been doing. And they thought, if we make this law, we know Daniel will be faithful to his God and he'll break it. And then we can find fault in him.
And when the king made a decree, it couldn't be changed. That was like in Esther with the Ahasuerus. Haman got him to write a decree against the Jewish people, and it couldn't be changed. But he wrote another decree that the Jewish people could defend themselves. And but that's why this was here. They couldn't change the decree because the king wrote it, signed it. Once it was made, it was made.
Yeah. They tricked Darius into writing this basically, and lots of times people in power, people will try to get to them, get on their side, get in their ear, get them to do what they want them to do, even though it may not be right, even though it may affect or harm somebody else. If this person in leadership don't know the other side of the story, they may do it not thinking about, and there's always somebody trying to get in there. Any other comments? Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he knelt upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. So he didn't change a thing. He just kept praying. He did it just like he did before. He didn't hide it. He prayed to God in the open, just like he had before, 3 times a day. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save with thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, The king is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king, That Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded, they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. So he wasn't going to break the decree, but Darius knew that God would deliver Daniel because he had been faithful. I often wonder, why did he not even think about Daniel when he made this decree? Did he not?
I'm sure the presidents and whatever, well, they said that when they made the decree, when they asked him to make the decree, they didn't mention Daniel at all. And then when they came back after it had been signed, Darius realized, oh, look what I've done. I've done this to my friend, the one I trust.
Yeah. But because Daniel was faithful and had faith, Darius had faith that God was going to deliver him. And lots of times our faith will bleed over into someone else, and that they put faith in God because of you. And we see this here. Daniel had faith, so Darius had. Even though Darius had done wrong and signed a decree, he believed God was going to take care of Daniel. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting, neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. So he believed, but he was worried. He was concerned. That was his friend Daniel. That was his high president. That was the one right under him. He told Daniel, he said, God will take care of you. Your God will take care of you. But he said, he said, Thou God whom thou serve. He said, because you serve him continually and he is the God, he will deliver thee. He didn't eat. They didn't, I guess, at night maybe he listened to music and his sleep went from him. He couldn't sleep that night. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste into the den of lions. He knew he had to go see for himself. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lambent voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel and hath shut the lion's mouth. They have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God, the true living God. God took care of. He was faithful in God. And you know, if we're faithful to God, if we'll do what He tells us to do without fail, just like Daniel did, He'll take care of us no matter. Now, we may not be thrown in a lion's den, but there's troubles and trials and persecutions that come along the way. And the king commanded, they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and they brake all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. So notice this. The king was upset because they had tricked him and lied to him. And he said, throw them and their wives and their children. And you think, boy, that's horrible. And it is. But it was because they went against God. And he realized that after he done the decree. He realized that he'd been tricked. They went against the one true God, and he had them thrown in the lion's den. It was a little different back in those days. They took care of business. Then King Darius wrote unto all the people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. Now think about that. He wrote a decree. He said that God of Daniel. Daniel's faith was so strong, he was delivered out of the den. He told that king, he said the angels came from God, closed the lion's mouth, and I slept that night. That's what, you think about that. You think that he seemed to faith, and that Daniel should be an example to us that we have that much faith that those that don't believe will say, look at how much faith they've done and look what God's done through them and what God can do, and that they see what he's doing there. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. So he said, he delivereth and rescueth, he worketh signs and wonders in heavens and in earth, who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. And so because of Daniel's faithfulness, Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian, because he was faithful. He didn't stop. He didn't even, I don't think Daniel even considered stopping praying. He just got down and prayed. He didn't let that bother him. He knew what was coming, but he trusted God. He trusted the Lord. That's how our faith should be. I know we're human. I understand it. Daniel was human just like us, but he had faith. I think about over there in the book of Hebrews chapter 11, where it talks about the faith chapter, and it says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. He believed God was going to take care of him. He knew he'd come out on the other side that next morning, but he didn't see it till he got to the other side, but he had faith in God. He'd been faithful.
Don't you think he thought like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, even if God doesn't deliver me, I'm still going to do what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah. Even, basically he's saying it's God's will if he chooses to deliver me. But if he don't, I'm going to do what I'm going to trust in God. There's lots of people in the Bible that had lots of faith. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and Daniel is probably some of the most prominent that we read about, and we can see it exactly what they did. Mm-hmm. We ought to use them as examples in our lives that we have that much faith in God. Any other comments? All right. Seemed like we went through this pretty quick tonight, but But there's a lot to be taken from that about Daniel and his faith. And if we'll be faithful like Daniel, God will take care of us. Next week we'll be in revival. Then the next week I'm out of town, so we'll dismiss. But then the next week we'll start with chapter 7. Has anybody got any? And if anybody wants to jump in and teach, I don't care a bit. I'll give somebody a turn. If somebody wants to teach the next week while I'm gone, you're more than welcome. All right. So we'll pick up here in a couple of weeks with Daniel chapter 7. All right. We'll ask Mom to come to piano.